Good old Georgia. Y'all, I have been asked to talk about the governor race over there. What a cluster of craps. There are parts of Georgia that I like. You know, like Savannah, where they have Bonaventure Cemetery, which is spookily. If you go there, go there. And the famous, infamous Louis Grizzard, born there, lived there, died there. If you don't know, you don't know. And you ain't part of the Cool Kids Club. I'm just saying. Well, I mean, you're all part of the Cool Kids Club. I'm just saying. But you got to go look him up if you don't know. Who he said. He said that he had heard, if you drive through Athens, Georgia, and you slow down, your window down, that they'll just throw a diploma through your window. But he said that's not true. You got to stop first. Louis. Don't be too salty. He went there. Anywhoosie, like I said, their governor race, once I looked it all up and I got to know everybody, is a cluster of craps. Let me just tell you, when I learn about politics and I learn it's a cluster, let's get into it. Let's see who the players are and let's see what they're up to. This here's Kenneth Copeland. I'm sorry, it's Rick Jackson. But he be giving me the Kenneth Copeland vibes. You know, that crazy-eyed televangelist? He is a 72-year-old billionaire healthcare executive. Now, look, I'm going to try to devoid this of all opinions. I'm going to try to just give y'all how it is. He is 72. He is 72. He is a billionaire. He is a healthcare executive. He is a first-time candidate. He has no political experience whatsoever. He has given plenty of money to other Republican candidates, including Donald Trump's Make America Great Again super PAC. Now, the ironic thing about that is that Trump didn't endorse him for this. He endorsed the other candidate, Burt Jones, who didn't win. As the former governor of Georgia, Brian Kemp, also endorsed him. All facts. And they interviewed a bunch of Georgia voters who said that they liked this man because he resembled Trump's background in that he's very rich and he's a businessman. He entered the race a lot later than Burt Jones, like 6 months later. But he spent mucho amount of money, like $100 million of his own money on this campaign. Like since the beginning of this year, he spent 3 times the amount for ads than Burt Jones did. And Ted Cruz endorsed him from Texas. That Ted Cruz. And he said something interesting to me, and I will give an opinion on this. Ted Cruz said, he's rich. He doesn't have to do this. He could be playing golf and not ever enter politics. This is my opinion on that. For somebody to say that would make the impression and infer that somehow it's noble. Somehow it's just a wonderful thing, and we all should feel grateful that somebody who has a lot of money would jump into a political position, would jump into an election and put themselves into all that scrutiny. Because why should a rich person care about politics? What does that say? What does that say about the privileges that rich people carry in this country? I hate to be that person, but come on, y'all. That the only people that should jump into elections and political spaces should be poor people because they should care about it. Why should they care about it, Ted Cruz? Moving on. As far as his education goes, he graduated high school, of course. He went to Lipscomb University, didn't graduate. Now, of course, he's successful financially, but like I've said before, this is my disclaimer onto the word successful. Everybody defines success in different ways. If you define success by the amount of money in your wallet or your bank account, then absolutely he's successful. I don't know him as a person or as a dad or as a husband or, I don't know him by those means. He claims to be a Christian, so spiritually, if he's right with the Lord and you define that as success, do you see what I'm saying? Then sure. Okay. Here's another tidbit, and I'm going to keep this even on both sides. The average square footage of a house in Georgia is between 2,100 and 2,200 square feet. I bring this up for a reason. Rick Jackson lives in a house called Le Rêve. It is 47,000 square feet. That's something I want you to take for whatever it means to you. He also wrote an op-ed, an opinion, that all prescriptions should be made and manufactured inside the U.S. instead of China and India, which he says is a safety risk to U.S. citizens. Remember, he works in healthcare. Remember how these things would benefit him. Or you can take it to mean that he cares about the safety and well-being of his customers. And really quickly, he got 53% of the vote against Burt Jones, who got 47%. Also, to end out his little spot, I tried to look up his campaign reports because you know I'm big on that. I couldn't find a thing. That could be my error, okay? Because the Georgia website is much different than Alabama. If somebody else can find it, I welcome them to give it to me. Moving on. This is Keisha Bottoms, the Democrat candidate for governor. Unlike Rick Jackson, she does have a political background. She's 56 years old, she is a wife, and she is a mom of 4 kids. She went to Florida A&M where she got a bachelor's of communication, and then she went to get her Juris Doctorate at Georgia State University of Law. Now, her 2 things that she's known for is that she used to be the mayor of Atlanta between 2018 and 2022, and she worked as the senior advisor for Biden's administration. And she has Biden's endorsement. Now, Politico called her tenure as the mayor of Atlanta rocky. Let's dive into that. During the election, she received several lump payments that totaled like $180,000 that she failed to report correctly. It's not right, but it happens sometimes. And then in 2017, which is like the year before she became the mayor, she had to return like thousands of dollars back to a campaign contributor because their office got investigated by the FBI. We got to be careful about who we take money from. And then again, she may not have known. Now, during her time as mayor of Atlanta, remember she's a Democrat, Trump's a Republican, the governor at the time, Brian Kemp, Republican. She did so many things to try to pick them off. And Politico called it rocky. I'm sure a lot of Republicans in Georgia didn't like it either. I'm sure a lot of Democrats in the Democrat parts of Georgia liked it just fine. She stated that Atlanta was an open and welcome city and that they would not detain ICE detainees in the Atlanta jail. She made an LGBTQ advisory board, and she released an LGBTQ affairs report that was designed to state the policies and programs that supported that community. Then during COVID-19, Governor Kemp said that they were going to open up businesses in April, and she rebuked all that and said they weren't ready for that. She said then that she was going to order a mask mandate, but at the same time, there weren't any citations for it, so it was really quite powerless. Then Governor Kemp said that he was going to make an executive order saying that all the mask mandates for the whole state were powerless and nobody was going to be able to do it. He filed suit against the city of Atlanta and her, but he also didn't file suit for any of the other cities that were doing it, like Savannah, so it was definitely targeted. And then the George Floyd riots happened. She did condemn the riots. Okay, but then she did talk to the rioters and said, listen, there's going to be something happen on the other side of this, okay? So depending on how you looked at that, she was both trying to tell them you're doing the wrong thing and both trying to de-escalate them at the same time. It depends on how you look at that. But she also was condemning Trump on his statements, saying that he was stoking the racial fire and saying that that he was making it worse. Take it how you want to. And she was telling people, hey, look, if you don't like him, get out and vote. Don't come at me if you're a Republican and you like Trump and you're saying that I'm meaning more into that and what. Don't come at me. I'm not either, okay? There were also some other issues while she was mayor when all the Atlanta PD went on strike. We'll get into that in another video because that involved an officer pew-pewing who got charges brought up against him. Like I said, we're gonna talk about that. Oh, and her campaign reports were easy to find. Found them just like that. So Georgia, y'all got something interesting coming up in November. Especially since y'all a swing state. Who knows what's going to happen? Because we know what's going to happen over here, y'all.